Welcome, my friends, to the Spirituality, Healing, and Vision Quest podcast, where we're going to take a deep dive into universal spiritual principles and ground them in modern day practices that you can apply to your life today. Hi, my name is Beth Berkins, and I want you to know that I am really committed to simplifying ancient wisdom practices. I've been studying them for over 40 years now and inside of them, and I want to give you easy to understand, proven, and reliable keys that are going to unlock true sources of power and healing for you. You're going to walk away from this podcast with some practical tools to create that greater meaning and purpose, that larger purpose that your soul is calling you to. All right, so let's get going on the next episode. Thanks for joining me. Hello, my friends. Beth Berkins here. Thanks again for joining me on this episode of Spirituality, Healing, and the Vision Quest. So today I would love to talk with you about life purpose. Sometimes people call it soul purpose, soul direction. I think you understand that, for yourself. And you may feel like you are living your life purpose. You may feel like you were living your life purpose at some point, but you somehow have gotten off track, or what started out as a purpose that, you had great meaning and relationship with has now kind of fizzled. Or you may feel you've never quite gotten to it. So I wanted to share a quote with you from a shamanic writer. His name is Iztak Berry. And this is from his book, The Gift of Shamanism. And he says this, see if you can relate with this, resonate with this quote. He says, your life purpose is your North Star in the dark night as you navigate your canoe. It's the compass by which your soul directs your life journey. Now that's true, isn't it? But what if we don't really have a hold of that compass? What if we've gotten a bit derailed, or we somehow set it aside? You may know that there's something wonderful and new that's waiting for you, the next path in your life, and you get on that, you go towards that. Something is calling you, right? It's the calling that we talk about in shamanism. But then, life gets busy and things, work takes over, the family takes over. You may decide, I'll do this next month, I'll do this next year. You set it aside, you get distracted. I'll do this after the holidays. Or it may be that, you just don't know how to do it at all. So it can be really longing for connection with what Iztak Berry is talking about. How do you find that North Star in the dark night so that you can use it to navigate your canoe, your pathway through life? I work with so many people here and in Europe. I've been leading shamanism workshops and Vision Quest workshops, and I just meet people from all directions around the medicine wheel, north, south, east, and west. And sometimes, people come to me and they say, I feel like I'm in a fog. I just don't know which way to go. I've been successful so far, but it's lost its meaning. I just feel uncertain. I'm not like at a crossroads. Have you ever felt that? Like you're at a crossroads, you could go this way, you could go that way. And you just need this compass, this inner GPS. You need something to help guide you, show you the way. People even, come to me very often. They say, I'm in a dark night of the soul. This thing happened in my relationship, or I lost my work, or somebody died. I've lost my bearings completely. I know there's more to life, but I have no idea how to get to it, how to discover it. I've lost my way. And also, people chat with me about, I feel like something's wanting to wake up in me, some kind of greater purpose. But I have no idea how do I find that? How do I go for that? How do I pursue that? So imagine having a vision to guide your life by. This, it's like a true roadmap of power, a true roadmap of guidance that is unerring, because it comes from in here, it comes from within you. So it's real. No more doubting the gift that's inside of you. No more kind of spinning your wheels. No more kind of stop and start on your path. Imagine that. Our ancestors had their own challenges, their own difficulties, just like we do. They didn't have the same kind of formats that we have of mentoring and guides and kind of a well-worn path to find the way. But they went through their own illnesses. They had their own losses. They had their own times of near-death experiences, confusions, and what they created for themselves was what we call dream temples. And these were located all over the ancient world. In Greece, the Temple of Hygeia; in Egypt, the Temple of Isis; and in Malta, the Temple of the Great Goddess up on the island. These dream temples were alive and, working to help people, a real true source, a real true guidance system. And the real source of where the answers came from, where the healing came from, they knew was from deep in the earth. And these temples served people for 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years, never failing. And now, we come to the 21st century, and in North America, we call this form of guidance, of healing, we call it the vision quest. And having a vision makes so much difference in terms of navigating your life. It's like having the compass of life in your hand, and we're going this way. I'm not going to do that. That's not part of my vision. I'm moving ahead this way. And it's not like vision is absolute straight line ahead. Rather, it's a living, breathing force that we carry inside of us. So I wanted to share with you a story of one of my vision questers. Maybe we'll get to two stories. She was living in Santa Cruz when she came to work with me. And this was after I had moved my vision quest out of the Mojave Deserts and out of the Swiss Alps and the Italian Alps, where I had been working for about 25 years. I moved it online because COVID was happening. I'm sure you remember that. And I did this because I came to understand that, Holy Mother Earth is everywhere. We don't have to go to the Swiss Alps. We don't have to go to the dream temples in ancient Greece. The earth, Gaia, Pachamama, so many names for her, Inanna, she's everywhere. That source of healing and aliveness, and that, can solve problems for us and guide us. That source is everywhere. And as are the helping spirits, the healing spirits, they're everywhere. And this whole vast network, the cosmic web of being and becoming, that people get disconnected from and can get connected back into. That force, that source is everywhere. So we're on Zoom together, and this client joined one of my Vision Quest groups. I believe it was in 2020. I think it was maybe the first one online. And when she came, she shared with us that she was very sick. She had psoriasis over her entire body. And she'd been to the doctors, and the doctors were now wanting to put her on very, very, very heavy medications, and she did not want that. So she sought out the Vision Quest as an alternative, more of a natural healing kind of method. And in the course of our work together, what I helped Leslie discover was that she had all these tapes inside of her head where she kept replaying these arguments that she had with her old boss. She had left that job physically, but emotionally and spiritually, she was still there. She was still having the same argument, feeling the same old hurt, feeling that invisibility, not being taken into account, not being cared for, not being listened to. And she would replay. There was like 3 or 4 of these incidents that she had had over the years. She just kept replaying them, and it was like it was affecting her relationship with her skin. Her entire body was on fire, to the point that her adult kids were having to dress her. She could hardly walk. She had to wear white gloves to even touch computer keys. She was absolutely in pain and misery. And so together we worked to uncover what these old conversations were. And she really engaged in a beautiful transformational willingness to let them go. Now, there are many ceremonies inside of the Vision Quest that I would love to share with you another time of, well, how do you let them go? First step is you identify them. And you see that they're like blocks, they're obstacles to the flow of life force. And so she did the identification process, and then the letting go, the releasing. And then I helped her refine and kind of reframe positive thoughts, positive beliefs that she held about herself. And one of the dreams that came up for her was that she wanted to start her own 503c. She wanted to start her own company, her own business. She was working with diversity and racism and sexism and women's rights and things of that nature. And she was very, 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 very good at her work. So then, she did a lot of work outside, nature-based healing work. And gradually, the skin condition just released itself, just naturally. It wasn't being fed by these negative old conversations in her head. So at the last meeting that we had online, she came and she showed us her hands, no gloves, no bleeding, and her neck, no bleeding, no scabs. And she stood up freely in front of the computer. Mobility was back. And this is what she said at the conclusion of that 90-day program. She said, "I've reclaimed my place in the circle of life. Thanks to the Vision Quest, I now have the tools and practices to keep myself healthy and grounded on my spiritual path. I've launched my own successful consultancy business. I couldn't have done this without the Vision Quest and Beth's mentorship and support. So I just want to applaud her and say, bravo. Essentially what she did and what can happen inside of the Vision Quest program is it's almost like installing a new operating system. Instead of, running on the old beliefs and the old stories that are hurtful and heavy, that drag us down, there are ways to release those and let those go and get free and get in touch with an inner guidance system, like what I call true sources of power. So, yes. So I would love to talk more with you about really, the nuts and the bolts of this. How is this possible? But one of the centerpieces of Vision Quest work is, of course, getting a vision, developing a vision. And I have created one of my signature programs. It's called the Shaman Visioning Process. And it is so different to go through life with a vision that's always right here with you, that helps you decide, shall I do this or shall I not do that thing? It's like having signposts on the highway of life that just show you the way. It's having the rudder in the water and the wind in your sails. Who was that Seneca who said, if I could remember this quote, about the sailor who's out to sea. No wind is favorable to the sailor who has no destination in mind. So, what is your destination? What is this that you may be holding in mind? You may have been having it, pressing the pause button on that call that you've got. Or maybe you've been, trying to give the call away to your nephew or your grandson or your niece or somebody you think is better suited to live that call. But honestly, there's only one of you in all time. And only you can live what you are being called to. So you have this unlived gift that's inside of you. You may be in touch with it. You may not be very much in touch with it. You may be afraid to, kind of take the bow off it and take the paper off it and look in the box at that gift. But that's why we're here. So I want to invite you to tune in this week to what your calling is. What is the universe whispering to you? When you really just get quiet and you just sit silently, maybe on your deck or your patio or in your backyard, you just turn off the phone, just breathe. What are you being called to right now? I invite you to just sit and listen to that. You have an inner knower. And your inner knower knows. So, thank you. Thank you very much for taking this time to look into this. And so I want to offer you a gift in this particular session, what I call a discovery call or a breakthrough call, a clarity call from my heart to yours. I'd like to offer this to you. And this is for you if you know you'd like some more support at this time in your life, you'd like to get more clarity about what is calling to you or about the direction that you're feeling pulled to go towards, or about the crossroads that you might feel you're kind of hesitating, stuck on the threshold, Or maybe there's a fork in the road and you just don't know which way to go. There are additional steps that you can take, of course. And if you'd like some help, some support, you may also have a sense of what's holding you back. You know, what we call paradigms, where you're kind of stuck or hesitating on your path. If you'd love to have a private chat with me, complimentary, my gift to you, please, let's compare calendars. If you look at the bottom of this screen when you end this call with me, end the podcast, you'll see that there's a link right to my online calendar. I invite you to just go there. Let's just look at my calendar. See if you can find a time. I know you can. Just, choose it and hit send. And I will be getting back to you with an email and a Zoom link. Or we can talk on the phone if you prefer that. I love Zoom because I want to see you and I want you to see me. So this is a time-honored possibility here to have this chat, have this conversation. Let's look into these things. Let's invite you to take a little time out for yourself. Okay, great. Well, thank you for this time that you've shared with me. And I hope this has been really helpful and insightful and waking something up inside of you. I feel really awakened having had this time to talk with you. So wishing you a great week and looking forward to receiving, a time in your calendar when we can chat more. All right. Thanks so much. Love and blessings. Bye for now. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed recording it. So any questions, any comments, please feel free to connect with me personally on my website, bethberkins.com. And if you feel guided to, one thing that I do ask is for you to rate the podcast. This way we can reach way more people, and in that way impact more lives, of course. So with that, I'll see you on the next exciting Spirituality and Vision Quest podcast.